It took me a while to make this year, but one of my favorite yearly traditions is checking out the Game Boy Jams. And this year is the 5th annual Game Boy Jam, and it had a cool crop, even though a lot of these games really don't really become anything other than these really quick demos. I still enjoy playing through them. So the 12, I'm just going to go in order and then have my pick at the very end. But the first one here is Boby Body Buddy, wearing like a little slime in a power suit armor, a very basic platformer. It's okay, it has some really good ideas, but just nothing crazy. Drop Dead Twice is a very minimalistic zombie shooter, very arcade-like. Essentially you'll get waves and waves of zombies and you shoot them. No backgrounds, but I do like the graphics, just like how high res they are, even though it's just on a black background, but everything just pops. And it's a very just simplistic game that is just kind of fun to play around with. I'm still kind of playing every one now and again, and I kind of wish it was on my phone actually. HallowQueen is another kind of action shooter where you're defending against a wave of monsters and you're defending your little caravan. Weird as it's a very bright red everything and a little bit of peach kind of white in there. Fun, fine, you know, whatever. I am Rubba and You Are Gloo is kind of an interesting concept. You're a little girl and you have this camera, and monster animals are throwing things at you and you capture them in your camera, and then you can use that to throw them back at the enemies. Kind of repetitive, as in each screen is kind of only one monster, maybe two, and you're kind of fighting them off. And I think that's an actually cool idea for an actual video game of using a camera to capture things. Not enough has been done with that kind of aesthetic. There's been some anime, Speedgrapher, I think, but that was a really weird anime that I'm not going to go down here. So let's just move on to Justice Bear Equinox, which is, you're basically a little teddy bear, and it's a runner, and you're running and jumping, and it's randomized, and it's fine, whatever. I died more a lot falling in pits than I actually needed my HP for. Very cute though, and I do like the whole Game Boy background. Reap What You Sow is a very close second. It's kind of like a Harvest Moon, I suppose, where you are fighting monsters and you're collecting seeds, and then part of the map you go back and you plant seeds like candy corn and then you grow them. It's kind of very weird. I do like the pixelated graphics art. I think all the designs for like the sights and everything like that is very cool. I do like the idea of Stardew Valley and other games like this, and you know, it's just kind of a nice little neat idea to put on the Game Boy Jam. Shuriken has probably the best music out of all of these games. Really pumpy, just a very heavy bass. You're just like a weird little critter running around this orange and peachy background. Very arcade-like, that you die a lot and you just, you know, you go back right into it very, very fast. You have a set number of shurikens where you can throw at enemies, but once you are out, you're out. I didn't really make it that far because I kept on dying, but it was a fun arcadey game. Slugcaster is a close second in terms of good music. Very, very simple. You kind of propel yourself in the air with your gun as you fight monsters encroaching on you, and if you fall into the deep waters below, then that's it. But another cool thing is, after you die, it changes colors into the next run, and so on and so forth. Again, another gimmicky aesthetic, but a cool one regardless. Raiders Jailbreak is kind of a puzzle platformer, I guess you would say. Very old school gameplay with the original black and white. You're like a raccoon or a dog squirrel thing, and you can climb on walls, which is kind of interesting, but you're trying to go through screen to screen, avoiding objects and traps and bad guys, and you're trying to basically escape, hence the name. Yeah, it's an okay game. Super Robo Dash is a very frantic platformer. All purple, which is kind of cool. Your robot kind of looks like something from Mega Man X. If you played that game, you might know what I'm talking about. Kind of hard to control with the gravity jumps and everything, and I couldn't quite get how to do a lot of stuff. Again, an okay demo. And finally, before we get to my pick of Game Boy Jam, we have Void Dogs, which is a descending shooter where you're trying to avoid asteroids as they plummet towards you. Very cool, very artsy kind of, I don't know how to describe the graphics really or the design. Just the light tones of the color reminds me of a painting I saw once. Very cool. Another pretty good soundtrack, I gotta say. Pretty good song, I guess, is more of the thing. But let's move on to number 1, which is Dream of Dungeon. It's my number 1 pick because of a lot of things. The music is pretty good. It doesn't match some of the ones I already mentioned, but graphically, it just seems leagues above some of these other ones. It is such a very cool idea and very basic at the same time. You're descending into a dungeon, you got this weird scythe-caped guy, and you're fighting these pretty cool looking monsters. The one thing that kind of drowns out the music is the noise, the slooshing and squirting noise that the monsters and bats make are kind of really distracting, and it is kind of pretty glitchy. But I gotta say, for as glitchy as it is, I can understand it because of just how, the proof of concept is just very fully realized for what it is. Of course, it's not complete like any of these other games, but out of all of them, I think I would like this one the most to be a fun little indie game to play on my PS4, my Vita, or wherever I play my games for indie treats. But that's it. If you want to check out any of these games, there is a link below to the website. And that's about it. All these games, of course, are free because they are demos. You can find them for PC, Mac, and Linux. Most of them for the most of the parts. And sorry for a little bit nasally today because I got a little bit of a cold. And that is all the stuff I gotta say. So for this edition of Game Free, I am out. Did you know that was a ReActionExaminer video? If you liked it, you should subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Also, if you have some other interests, like sex for example, check out Tum Ups, which is a comedy sex podcast thing wherein my best friend and I check out the weird and abnormal and the erotic. And of course, you should support me on Patreon because, hey, I want to make the channel better and I want your help to do so. Plus, if you want to check out my writing, check out Game Jerk, where I have archives and new stuff for all projects, okay? You can find all the stuff and more in the description with the links below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.